Hey, Crown Content Publications, followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners. Thank you for tuning in to another live segment with the Crown Content Publications YouTube channel where publishing and marketing finally meet. I started to say do meet, but no, that's what kind of makes our little our little slogan different. We say finally meet. We love it. We love it. We hope you guys are having a happy hump day out there. Uh, if you're not, we wish you a better one from the Crown Content Publication Services families to yours. And that's a little bit kind of not when it comes to how we're doing today, but it ties into what we're talking about a little bit. Sometimes that even is a stress reliever, right? Research in itself. Sometimes we're stressed or we're unsure or whatever, simply because of what we don't know. Okay. So that's the same thing with the publishing industry. And when we're beginners, learners, or even considering taking the route of traditional publishing. Good morning to you guys out there. I'm Arthur, podcaster myself, Miss Whitney, and I also consider myself a self publisher because some of this we're going to be talking about, I have experience with too, as far as the submission processes with things like poetry contests, poetry chapbooks. I don't know if you guys are familiar out there. We're a hub for writers and readers, business and book lovers. We interview authorpreneurs. We were doing it more frequently, like weekly, but you guys can expect that. We've been talking about that, not on our streams about celebrities and different stuff like that, but on the business streams how Crown Publishing content our services. Now that never stopped. You can always visit our website at www.contentcrownpublications.com. Okay. I'm gonna put it out there again, but I did leave publications.com. It's where you can find a list of services when it comes to content uh, or just content creation. We've talked about last week. We been interested. Yes. So it's not just about the books, but this is what I'm gonna say overall on that when it comes to Crown Publishing content. This is just our YouTube channel, but we love to connect more here, talk tips, resources, grants and scholarships for students and writers, entrepreneurs, freelancers, right? That's what we do here. Try to learn from one another when it comes to the publishing industry all the way around. Whether you take the traditional publishing house route to market and promote your book, or you take the self-publishing route, right? We love to talk about it here because people choose different routes for a reason. Per Arthur, everybody's goals overall are different, and we understand that at Crown Publishing Content. So when you visit that website, it'll tell you how we help you, social media influencers, content creators, independent writers, learners, and authors. We love it. And, we're here to support you with our services. Our channel is for everybody. It's absolutely FREE to hit that subscribe button, that like button. The subscribe button bell allows you to continue to follow future streams, interviews, and resource and tips, type streams just like these for writers, book lovers, and readers. Okay. On the reading side, I want to pick up more because everybody's not a writer. Not myself with reading. I'm saying with what we're doing to support readers, guys. So definitely hit that subscribe button because like the juices have already begun flowing. Of how we can bring, I'm gonna say the creative juices, how we can bring more attention to, not because a reader is not looking for something like promotion, right? But they might look for platforms and hubs where they can, you know, other readers who enjoy books or similar genres of books, they can connect, get in different book clubs, groups, and then, the rest is where it goes from there. But we always encourage entrepreneurial, uh, freelancer type, independent workers type networking, right? And us having these conversations, how even when you work for yourself, right? How we're properly, we talked about pitches, on business segments last year, something so old fashioned like your business pitch. If you're just caught off guard in the grocery store one day, you're Arthur. You consider yourself an independent writer. You consider yourself needing nobody's permission to gain a client. We were never trying to lose clients or customers. That's any business. But that's most of our mission, right? To work with people, as with literary agents, publishing companies. So somebody might ask you, because I was just talking about pitches, business pitches. It's kind of like your introduction of yourself. If somebody wanted to learn more about who you were as a writer, what you write about, where they can find your book, right? This is just starting this publishing things to know tips in 2023. It's like starting a segment, a great way to start it. But if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Arthur Podcaster, Miss Whitney. My name is on the banner of my channel. The spelling and everything, because we encourage people. Like I've been saying that I haven't been promoting the ebooks lately, my own self-published ones, but I never discourage anybody who still, loves poetry or might want to see who I am as a writer or how I've been growing or how, you know, leave their reviews. We always encourage that. And you can find my work, Arthur Tedasheri Whitney, on the Amazon Kindle platform in 2023. Poetry ebook titled Black Blood. And then we have some fictions going on Amazon Kindle ebooks. That people might be interested in creative fictions and stuff like that. So you just type in that name. I'm not on like Audible yet, but you can locate Crown Publishing Content's podcast, separate podcast on Spotify in 2023. I did in the description section, leave that link, Spreaker.com/show/5379253. And I really do know all my links and tags by heart like this. The numbers, the dashes, this is the time we live in. Technology, you need passwords for everything. And it actually really is essential if you're going to go to self-publishing route, because now you're more responsible. And then even self-publishing, it don't mean you're doing everything on your own. I hope people understand that out there. That's not like the only reason we support independent writers or aspiring writers. Just because you take self-publishing route does not mean you have to travel through your self-publishing route all alone. No, you're just taking the initiative as the writer, right? Like you want to go ahead and research and invest in your own illustrators or your own editor, your own proofreader. You want to ask for reviews your own way. You want to create your own book trailers. That's what self-publishing is about, guys. Good morning to y'all again. We encourage you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button too to show your support, because we also have more of these streams coming when it comes to how we're edifying the community of authors and writers in the new era. For example, I have fun talking to my kids a lot because we talk about homeschool and all that all the time. Not me and my kids, but right here on the channel, because some students are independent learners. Not only young students, but college students go to school right from home. I'm a witness because I completed a program recently. So it's possible online from home, independent structured learning. It's a whole real thing. So, and we're grateful for it. It makes it more possible, more structured, more organized. I'm not going to say more than on site or something. I'm going to say more sometimes for that learner. Maybe that learner does independent study, independent learner, but they have a tutor twice a week. That's the same thing with publishing. You're going through the self-publishing, you're an independent publisher at that point because you're pushing your own book, you're pushing your own work. Okay. But that doesn't mean you're going through that journey alone, or that it has to look like you have to, is what I want to help when it comes to the first tip on my list. Though we're talking about traditional publishers today in traditional publishing houses and just what to realistically expect. Realistic tips. I'm not saying everybody else's aren't. I just want to give y'all, this is my podcast here. I put it like this. Because people don't want to waste their time researching what their beginning steps of publishing might look like. And, but I'm sure they would want to know all their options. This is what research is about. I mean, because, it's just what it is. Everybody just might not tell you, or you might not have that information when you first start writing your book or have an idea for a book. They might not tell you, you can do the work on your own. You could ask, I'm not being funny, vague questions like how much is it for an editor? It's a vague question in this industry. It's a very vague question. Writers with experience out there know what I mean, and we're not picking on anybody. That's what I'm saying. I'm being rhetorical, funny. It's a vague question. Now, there's thousands and millions of editors out there, and some people just do. They choose to copy, edit, proofread, even some of the best English majors, writers, communication majors will tell you, though, it's just going to be a better, wiser decision to go ahead and have somebody other than yourself go ahead and proofread from something like a blog, or just when it comes to content and actual wording. And that's why we say content management and publication services, digital ones, and how you can learn more about them at crownpublications.com. But we are not a traditional publishing house, so that's just what it go. What we can do, though, is offer you the services and connect you in the right places if you were interested in the self-publishing route. Because like I said, there's so many different options, and every author, let's make it like a formula. So many different options in the publishing industry, so many different routes. Plus, this is the equation. Plus, you knowing your options, knowing your personal options. So what do you do with that? Or you don't know your personal options, right? This is important to us on this channel when we have these type of discussion topics, because with traditional publishing houses and some publication services companies, contracts come about. It depends on, like, that's why I say it's a vague question to ask something like, how much is editing? You might not need a contract with something like editing, or you might have it because money's involved if you're just paying for a service. If you're going through a traditional publishing house that covers, does all this for you, right? We're talking about those options. If you choose to go with a traditional publishing house, they're editing, they're promoting, they're marketing, they're proofreading, they're formatting, they're helping you with what the book trim size is going to be, and the colors, and the ink and print. I'm trying to keep on with the examples. ISBN number, trying to help you get that as your book identifier number, your copyright license. That's what your traditional publishing house is going to pretty much make sure they help you with. And most times they're going to offer a variety of different packages themselves. Like, we can help you with this much for this price, or we can do this for your book for that price. You know what I mean? Just realistic expectations when we're possibly, hoping to knock on the door of the publishing industry. You don't want to self-publish. You want to actually talk to traditional publishing houses. You want to look at an opportunity for an advance and getting signed and signing a contract and writing for a company for the next 2, 3, 5 years of your life. It's a whole option. Do beginning writers, independent writers, independent publishers know? Well, they know. We were going to talk about today why more are preferring to choose to self-publish. Interesting topic on the Crown Content Publications YouTube channel today. Yeah, like, it's just a fact. With more access to the way we can create content in books, any type of content, but I have to say books because of what we're talking about today. It's more convenient, it's more, convenient for people to do this themselves. That's just a fact off top. Technology has made this possible. Technology, the apps that are created now for writers, and we're just talking about this sector today. We know with many businesses, there's apps out there to help you get your job done. But we're talking about publishing, right? Whether you're independently publishing your own, pushing your own, self-promoting, branding yourself, or you choose to go ahead and work with a, let's say, notorious publishing house or somebody known to get an author's book put. You see how that's a whole difference? But it's really the same goal at the end of the day. And let me repeat, every author's goal, what is different. That's why you see some jump straight off into book signings with that novel debut. Some are doing book trailers, or it's done turn into a movie. The goals go on, and I mean, because we got to talk about the facts. Even if you don't go through a publishing company, you're not getting these type of contract offers through them. I mean, and through who they're connecting you with is what I meant. If you're self-publishing, what are your goals? Are you still trying to get that far? Or are you still trying boom, boom, boom? It's a whole conversation. Every author has a different goal. An author is, boom, a writer before an author. Now, we just are talking about the industry a little bit, because publishing houses would also probably have something like ghostwriters. We were just talking about that. They are helping you with the illustration, the formatting, and the inside print of the book, and the editing and everything, right? The book cover, everything. But when you're a self-publisher, that's why we respect them so much on this channel. We respect what publishers do at traditional publishing houses. I hope people never think that I'm trying to take away. Those were here long before we could do what we could do on apps and stuff, and text to speech, right, to finish a book. Right? This is, this was just the way. This is how we got a book pushed. So it were just these print books, but now you got online publication delivery, and everybody loves it. If they have something like a tablet or phone, they can access the book. They don't even have to. I mean, I'm not being funny. Read it. Something, an app like Audible, you're just listening to it. It just plays for you. The narrator's sweet voice is just playing the book. This is the day we live in. Okay, so boom, this is what people prefer, and it's understandable. It's an awesome topic. Okay, so they are going the self-publishing route. We're not saying that traditional publishers don't use Audible and stuff like that. Look how deep of a topic it is. Their job is to help push that author's work, as far as they can. So I'm sure all of their packages and everything they do with authors at different publishing houses is different. This is why the research and calling and knowing your goal, even if you needed somebody to help you sort that out, like, man, this is just my first time overall, or just my third book, or you know what, I'm actually been writing for a while, but this one is a little more serious, and I want to take this book right here, play, and I'm willing to put it all, and I'm willing. That's why I said that self-publication route too, though. That don't always mean you are by yourself. Let me go back to that for a second. You don't have to go through that self-publication process by yourself. When you are paying for services, consultants, business advisors, I wouldn't care if it's a business lawyer. It's still an investment of help, of assistance on your team. Yeah, to help make sure, you can do your work professionally, legally, keep everybody happy. I'm trying to say it in a short-term way, a short way. See, that would still be your responsibility, if you ask me, in my opinion, to make sure you're getting your book in the places that you would like it to be. Let's say that. Could one person do that all on their own? Well, there's people been out here doing it. Whew. And it's inspiring to see. They're on social media. They're doing different things to promote their work. Like we talked about the book trailers that are so popular today, and how some poets are even illustrators themselves as well. They're whole artists, but they have the gift of writing poetry for sure. And so they blended their work. We had the I was trying to think of his name. All these professional artists, Donatellos, and all these people, but it's beautiful. You have AI creation type technology that allows you to put the illustration with the words, which is not necessarily new, but we're talking about just poetry for a second. And how it definitely helps with the imagery when we think about what poetry is. We're just talking a little bit though. We're just talking. Like when I think of poetry, I'm definitely thinking imagery, painting pictures for me. Any book, right? But poetry for sure. Y'all know why I say that. Just the imagery, the art. Can I get a picture? Can I feel even? Sometimes it's not just the imagery. What does this poem make me feel, right? Because we're talking about authorship today, publishing. And what realistically publishing houses are like. We're going to talk about some statistics. Starting off with like the average medium to big size publishing house. So I'm saying mid-range, they've been around for a while and they're pretty successful. These type of publishing houses, which, if you're taking your work more serious or you got an agent, you probably are submitting to more publishing, serious or notorious or more medium to bigger size publishing houses at some point. You know what I mean? If you wanted to go this route. The facts and the statistics are though, they look like these numbers. So the average medium size, large size publishing company could get something like up to 5,000 unrequested, because I'm gonna come back to that word, manuscripts. What do y'all think? A week, a day? Yeah, let's try a day. We talking about well-known name book publishers out there. Traditional, publishing houses. How many people, like realistically, y'all? Now every publishing house, that too, they only accept certain type of genre, John and John Publishing Services over there might not accept the same genres that Fisher and Arthur and them do. So that's just something you look at. Even if you're taking the self-publication route. You're thinking that this might be what you're more considering, Arthur. And there's nothing. We also they save money. Businesses too. With this age in the era, they still printing out here today magazines, books, so that's still happening. But the fact is, people are how less costly, more reading something like online, is for them. Bill services is fun. For example, they'll ask, would you like an electronic billing? And leave your bills electronic. And then I try to stay green. And yes, yeah, I can prevent getting, because you can always print it off if you, or a lot of people accept, digital copy of your document. That's a beautiful. We talk about pros and how it helps writers and publishers with their work. So I say that, I'm gonna say publishers for sure. Maybe there's not out with a deal with a publishing company. Maybe they didn't even know anything of some of what I'm saying today. Okay. I still think this is great how I'm starting it, because they receive 5,000 unrequested manuscripts, whether you know this about traditional publishing houses or not. Where I was going with that is that word unrequested is like, these are just submissions. These are just other aspiring writers and authors that are trying to make it, or, trying to get their work accepted, trying to get a response back from them. right? As with probably the film industry, the modeling industry. Even I like that I said the film industry first because something like extras is even important in films, right? Like they hire whole extras to be in the background of scenes, right? Regardless of who wrote the script or what. Let's get off the writing for a second. That's a whole job. So these are independent freelancers, also people in this type of work that maybe sign up or apply to we're just talking about the industry a little bit. And if a writer was more looking at going that direction, because I mean, the sky's the limit. It is for real. We'll tell any of our clients that at Crown Publishing Content, but I'll announce that on the channel, as my opinion. The sky's the limit with any work. We're not putting writers or authors or entrepreneurs, self-made. We do talk about it. We encourage them, but we're not putting them over, anybody else's goals or the way they choose to do it with their book on this channel. No, 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 no. We like to talk about, all the different options, avenues, new tools and resources out there to help us. Why? Back to what I was saying. Everybody not starting with a publishing deal or $10,000 business loan. A lot of us we never got approved for a PPP, for example. So if you starting with, what you had, right? It would also pay you to know your options, do research. What are avenues, routes I can take to still push my book, to still self-publish my book too? Because what did we talk about would come with that? You still investing or being responsible or whatever enough to accountable as a self-publisher. You don't have an agent telling you how to do everything, or you might. That's why I said the self-publishing journey does not have to be lonely. That's not what that means at all. It just kind of still means self-made. But now you're hiring the help you need. Do y'all get what I'm saying? You don't have to go through the journey of self-publication alone. See, Crown Publishing Content and our services, this is our channel, Crown Content Publications. Our services are just one of many that help influencers. Well, we're talking about social media because what we do with digital content to help people, those services, proofreading, reviews, editing, writing, even. Uh, people are thing about what we do, we never have, nobody can say that either, look for rights and ownership of any of our clients' work. That's why, what we do is different. We're not asking to be, a co-author in your book just because we helped you ghostwrite it and you paid us. That's still your book. Contract in a minute, it goes on and on. Those consultations also can be booked if anybody's interested in, by the way, publication or digital publication or content management services or want to learn more. I put that website out there, contentcrownpublications.com. But the book services, see, they can help you. We, we unpublishing, re-put there. People do that. Of a book that did mighty a whole started the first time and had another might might all be and one sometimes to pull a book and then republish that book. That's number one. Or just write versions or them themselves. They have a different printed copy version, like a whole different version you can order of that same book. The publishing industry is very interesting. It's crazy. I mean, and this can happen whether you're self-publishing or working with a publisher. Sometimes it's just decided, you know what, this book would actually be better with a different cover. Same title, same author, same story, right? They make $1 million decisions like this for real sometimes every day in the publishing industry. Hold on one second, guys. I didn't see my YouTube sister here. I didn't see her comment till just now. But when she does come back, Grand Rising, good morning, and happy hump day, all that beautiful stuff to you, sister. Just on here talking publishing business a little bit this morning. I know she'll come back. She always come and show support. We love her. Right here, I see her in the comment chat here. Uh 5,000 unrequested manuscripts a day. Imagine that. That's probably like the average medium range to big size publishing company. How many people are ambitious to get their book out? It's still happening. And that's just why publishing companies are still in business. Traditional ones, they have these publishing package deals or consignment packages, offers, or what else they be having going on? Advanced deals for authors. Not every publishing house does that. I think we'll talk about that in a minute. But I guess that would be a lot of people's goal. We are going to talk about that in a minute. I wrote a statistic about that too, because in the publishing industry, they were saying research was saying a good deal on a debut novel, something like a contract. I mean, and you want to go through that process with something like maybe for real, like your business attorney or your own literary agent. Already have that going, or you go yourself, just come ready and to read that contract and what comes with it. That's all I'm saying in an encouraging way. Because there's just many stories. Y'all know TikTok made that possible. People got stories all over the world, not just in the publishing industry, all kind of experiences in their life of different things. But yes, the publishing industry too, and just how much things have changed. And like I said, the pros and the cons. How much things have changed, the pros and the cons when we talk about publishing, because you got digital publishing. Well, we were talking about those online publications, which have just changed the world in itself. The Amazon guy, I don't know if he still owns it. Y'all hear me? That's just for example. The Amazon guy, when he said, you know what, I know we sell products on here on our platform, but let's go ahead and do books. Not only that, y'all, he said, let's go ahead and be a book selling platform. But also, we're going to allow self-publication on our platform. We're going to allow them to be able, you know how people have their stores and stuff on Amazon anyway. People that do business with Amazon. I've never had one, but it always looked like fun business. It probably looked like a lot of work too, but there's just people that they have their businesses on Amazon. And then if you didn't know, guys, there is Amazon Business now, and you got Amazon Kindle. That's what I'm talking about. When they created the book part though, and the Amazon Kindle fires, all this fun stuff, things really took off for them. So I'm not scared to speak on it. I mean, they saw the benefit. They saw the increase of people preferring, their content online. And they definitely, made a smart move with that. Like, we're gonna build a platform. We already had our Amazon Kindles and where they could read, and we wanted readers to have access to books and content. But now it's even deeper. The readers, if they're writers, they can come here, or if they're still readers, they can come here and get a good book, or they can write a book. Now that part is beautiful that they've opened that door. So there's deals, contracts with that too, with Amazon, if you decide to go that way. Whether you look at it as a contract or not, everything you're agreeing to go ahead and get that book put up there, that's your contract, sweetie. Anybody I would talk to about it, in my opinion, because I remember what it say, even with the tax form and royalties. Okay, so that just comes with it. Whether you go, and that was just talking about Amazon Kindle. I was applauding them that it was a smart idea to start a bookstore / whole tablet line for readers. No matter how old the Kindle Fires are now, right? This was a whole era, and people bought those things. They had the pens with them, the flashlights, everything, just to read online and digital content. Okay, so boom, the tablets, the bookstores now, right, that they have. We all know you can access pretty much whatever you need on Amazon now, but I was saying when they added the books side, slash publishing, bookstore slash publishing contracts. And then I'm not going to say globally right now, but they have other countries. You could be in another country, still work with Amazon Kindle is what I'm saying. Which I'm not going to go deep into that right now, because like I don't think it's every country at this time with Amazon Kindle, but lots of them, yeah. So and I guess it just works for them. So I was commending them on that. And we're going to talk about, I don't mind, but I'm not going to give out too many. But just informative information like this, free platforms for a starter who wanted to begin looking for an avenue or option to publish. Because I'm not through talking about this real quick. Publishdrive.com, applebook.com. Y'all hit that like button. Google Play Books. And subscribe to show your support. Amazon KDP. So y'all play this back, take notes, and then share it with an aspiring writer or somebody actively working to get in the industry, or they're already there. I mean, these type of segments, these type of podcasts are actually what we enjoy, right? When we're readers and writers, there's no way around it. And then there's all type of different writers. We talked about that on other segments. But for the sake of this one, we're talking about traditional publishing houses. If a person was realistically trying to push their work and nothing but because they have a goal to get signed with a notable publishing house, honorable. I don't know what's a better word. Traditional for sure, because this was did it to get a book out. Woo. So yeah, publishdrive.com, applebook.com, Google Play Books, and Amazon KDP. And it's just beautiful. In 2023 alone, let me add this in here real quick. I've seen so many new uprising authors. It's beautiful. Like, I don't think it's new. I don't think it's an upsurge. I think I just notice it more because I'm more into the work now or whatever. But just y'all know I'm talking about the celebrities first, like ones we just thought we probably never get a book from. I'm not gonna name names, but it's beautiful. Just different people coming out with their stories, and not just celebrities. I can even say personally, just seeing more people even giving it more thought, like that you just never thought would, or rumors going around that they're writing books, right? We know, for example, Jada's just coming. Jada Pickett. You had Young Jeezy. Hold on, I could really keep going. It was really a lot of celebrities pushing books this year. I think, I don't know if Krishan Rock has one, but she should go ahead and go there. When people ask me about it though, because she's way younger than me, I just be like, I'm not done living. I'm gonna write about my story. But you don't want to, because that happens too. You got people write about you when you gone. That does happen. You could have did your own documentaries and everything when you were living. We see this with celebrities. Speaking who you were to the world, and they still, write it or get it wrong sometimes in the biographies and documentaries, right? Because, everybody saw your story a different way. But, it's an interesting question. A lot of authors don't write their life stories. There's so many millions and billions of other things to write about, guys. But we were just saying, that might be a more serious reason alone. I'm glad I mentioned that for an example, that you wanted to talk to a traditional publishing company. Y'all see? Are you following? Or there's nothing wrong with there's many. We've had them on the interviews. Check out the link in the description section and tune in to previously recorded interview segments with Authorpreneurs. We nickname and call them. Not we created it, but we do call them that. We like that term here. Authorpreneurs. Because some of them did share their stories, or a certain season of their life, something like prison story or foster home story, poverty story. Being raised in another country story, right? People do write their own stories, and we're talking about the new era of digital online publication, okay? And why people were going the self-published route more often. We talked about one example like Amazon KDP and how accessible they have made it. They open a bookstore online slash, you can order whole books off Amazon. What you mean? Or you can read it online. And we made it accessible for the creative, the creatives of the world who want to join the Amazon KDP family. That's how they felt. I said it was a beautiful idea. Now, does everybody agree with how Amazon does business? No, that's not what I'm here to say. I know that for a fact. That's why some may start there. We're talking about areas to start, things to realistically talk about with publishing. If you wanted to go the self-publishing route. But with the traditional publishing houses, something like a biography might be more serious to you as far as work when it comes to you investing in it. That's your whole story, you know. But don't get it wrong, y'all. Like I said, a lot of celebrities, they have not done a biography stuff. Like they didn't sit down and write it. I'm telling y'all. But maybe another author did. It's crazy. That's why I said even after you leave, there could be whole books on your life. or article or blog somewhere, with something like online publication being a thing today. This being people being able to do this. So we would want to talk about integrity too. That's definitely a whole thing. I mean, the traditional publishing house would too, as y'all, that's why I was talking about those contracts who you might want to bring with you. Don't just go in there signing stuff because you're like, oh, I want to get a publishing deal today. And yes, this sounds great. And it's like a whole 50-page contract, but you really didn't want to read through it. That's another thing, that it just never hurts to talk about, to help people when it comes to us and where we're trying to get, as self-published authors. Some are trying to get that far, some aren't. They love what they do. They love promoting their self. They love the income, their revenue they are drawing in on their own with their own team for their book. There is nothing wrong with it. But if you want your team to be a traditional publishing house who's going to take care of all of that for you, right? You might could look at something like a publishing deal and in advance. When it gets that serious, my tip is you don't go in there into a contract by yourself. It's a beautiful opportunity, of course, especially if they're wanting to work with you and sign you on the type of content or what you write about, that genre. You feel like this is great for you still. Maybe you want to start calling literary agents. Maybe you want to start calling publishing services coordinator, business advisors. Get their advice. See if they'll come in. And these are investments worth making, is what I'm saying. If you ask me, business attorney, right? Because, just for example, it's a whole rumor the past 48 hours. Well, it's been longer than that, but people are talking about it more since he engaged to his first baby mom, Blueface. It's an example of business I'm talking about because they're in the industry. So people out there like, he's doing all this to these women, but it's all over the internet. He finna lose his mansion. See, I could have overlooked that comment and stuff, but what do I say here, y'all? Arthur Podcaster, Miss Whitney? We can learn. We could observe, learn. I mean, it pays us to pay attention. So from celebrities that already done made it to certain levels in the industry. If what I'm saying is not relevant, I think it is, because that's a story around right now. And that's just one celebrity. You had Wesley Snipes and his taxes years ago or whatever, right? We're not picking on these guys. For example, though, they're saying Blueface, with all that's going on, though it ain't your fans and the world's business, you know how it is once you're in the industry. They are in, you have an account manager, PR managers, all these people to handle your money and stuff, sir. So that's why people are talking about it. Like, sir, why are you finna lose your house? I mean, for all we know, he's ready to get rid of the mansion or he's selling it. But no, they say they have receipts. They have receipts on that, some about is they're taking his house or whatever. So, I mean, Because it never hurts anybody to downsize. I'm not gonna look at the man negative. It is just a little sloppy, sir. You're rich. That's all we're I guess that's all they're saying. I ain't gonna say we. They were commenting saying that about that man. They don't like how he's doing. He's too young. He's young himself. But he's too young. Baby mothers going in between them and all this, the people are talking about it, and they just feel like, I mean, that's one main thing they do talk about. They feel like Krishan needs to find her own. People want to see her happy, even if it's with another guy. So they just keep following everything. So when I was following it, he has engaged to Jaden Alexis, who he was with before he was in the industry and had 2 kids with. I mean, people can say whatever reasons in the book. They're saying her marrying him and she's going to inherit his debt. We all know that's probably what do come with marriage. I'm like, wow, all this information everywhere. They saying he's losing his house. So that's the point about it with business. I wouldn't look at it like everybody else do. Like, okay, with that man and his contracts and his house and all the money, not like us commoners. No, all the money you had, Blueface. All the money you have. Not had. That don't mean he don't have it to remind y'all, because the internet is saying he behind on his house. It just shows something else. It definitely does, until we know. I mean, because they were saying Krishan and her house. Y'all remember that? So I don't know why they be all in. That's just how it is when they're in the industry. They be all in their business about their houses they buy, boom, boom, boom. It's just certain celebrities you don't hear this type of stuff about. Oh, Rihanna, they came and took her house. We just don't hear it. We haven't heard it yet. It's not that it can't happen to anybody. But he's in the industry, so it's an example to me. Probably not the publishing in it, but he got his hand. I mean, y'all, we talking about Blueface. He had his hand enough in it to start a, show on Zeus Network TV, and for it to be successful and for him to get these views and ratings up, he had a hand in it, so he's a business thinking guy, and whoever's helping him, it's probably more than Whack 100 and all the people we know about. He probably has a team of, and they help them through that. But we heard about both of them. Honestly, you heard about Krishan first. She had just got a house when they broke up. Y'all know breakups can be messy. So, I wouldn't say that's why I don't prefer them. I would just prefer not to go that far and deep with people, when it ain't real. Because, yeah, breakups can get messy. Breakups to begin with. Blueface and her are rich. All we know is that the information floats around, and y'all have contracts. We're talking about the industry here, and why I say it's good to go in there. I'm not saying they didn't. No, y'all don't wait till later, then try to go get managers and lawyers and say, oh, well, we weren't done right in business in the contract. I mean, it happens. But if you just take somebody with you in the beginning and you look at the contract, look over it, negotiate, I just feel like it's a better strategy, a better plan or something when we talk about the industry. But I'm just here to talk about the publishing industry today. But back to Blueface, he might be still good for this topic because he has his hand in publishing and TV and stuff like that. So, he's a good example. So why are they saying you're losing your house, sir? Okay, having these people on our team, even when because I think he would consider himself as well the path he's on right now, entrepreneur, like working for self-made and all this. Blueface. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm saying. Even through the self-made process, you don't have to do it by yourself. You think he does? Or is he? Because you're losing your house, sir. I mean, he can go buy another one or something. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about a whole celebrity here. I mean, so what is it? Probably they just be talking about, oh, his karma. He's losing his mansion. I mean, how y'all know that man ain't got money? He go get him another house. And it don't hurt to downsize. But what's going on for you and her to have been losing a house is stupid. And both of y'all getting money doing podcast. Her, even if it was understandable, I could see with her. I'm just saying they both rich. But with her, it's even understandable after having a baby or whatever. If her money slowed down, but your house and bills, like who is y'all managers and account? He'd be quick to say, oh no, I'm her manager. I own her. Nobody can work with her unless they go through me. If you know the Krishan Rock and Blueface story. He was that type of boyfriend or whatever to her, whatever they were, but they do have a baby together now. They were in business together, guys. I'm telling y'all the significance and importance of contracts. So it's probably just more go on or more they plan and organize when it comes to getting the views and stuff to make their money. I understand it. But that other part is just real. You talk about the views and the money, they're sharing info on Instagram and YouTube that, that ex couple, though she went and got a house to separate from him, though he had his house over there, they're saying he's losing them. I mean, it's just a lot going on. If we did look at their situation and how this works in business and publishing contracts, and it's like, where are y'all managers and stuff? I understand us commoners losing places and stuff. It's sad when it happens to us. But that's why it always be a big talk when you hear something like that about a celebrity. Who's handling your money, or you make it, or why are you losing a house, or like what's going on? That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't it be a more significant topic today? I'm sure nobody has money to burn or lose in business right now. 1 second, guys. To get back to what I was saying, this is why you just want to. I would never discourage anybody from talking to a publishing house. Do your submissions, turn in your work. Just make sure you have somebody. We were going to talk about that. Look over your proposal, proofread your proposal. Maybe because a publishing house is serious. Maybe as good of a professional as you can get for your money. Have them look over that manuscript or what you're going to submit before you submit it. Have them look over that query letter, that introduction. For those that don't know, it's like how you can have a cover letter for your resume. For an author or agent that's submitting book work, that's more like the cover, not the cover of the book, but the cover of the book. You know what I mean? When you send it to them in the industry or they're looking at your work, that's going to be just as important. A lot of times, and this is just a fact, I had heard through and just saw through my research, some of these traditional publishers get as far as these query letters. So I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm trying to help. And they don't even go read the submission. Your query letter didn't catch their attention or their eye. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying realistic things to expect. Realistic things to prepare. I mean, if you're going to realistically begin to submit this work, whether you do it self-publishing, like I said, you do it all on your own. I don't want to say, or you go to self-publishing route, or you do it all on your own when it comes to trying to get that deal for you with a traditional publishing. I would still say you're an entrepreneur until you get that deal. And then, it is what it is. It's different ways to look at it. I would still say you're doing a lot of footwork for yourself when you choose to do the submissions process, because I know what that looks like. And let's say you're doing it for more than one book, or you're doing one book at a time. But, if you're really trying to get a deal, you're probably submitting, as much as your work as you can to different houses, different publishing houses, as I stated earlier, except different forms and genres of work. Okay. It doesn't hurt to ask for reviews, surveys, share an excerpt before you submit it. Get more opinions, do more research, see what the people would prefer. So when you are on platforms like LinkedIn, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and you see authors in these groups or on their pages saying, hey, they ask these questions. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Well, with this hub, for anybody that subscribe and because I met a lot of you guys in author groups, so it's awesome. You might see them say, like, ask these questions, or they're doing a survey, or they're doing a poll. They're using social media to do it. They might be trying to get a feel for something for their book. I'm telling you. So I always support it. Don't hurt to comment. If they be like, if a girl was in love for the first time, what all would she feel? People might comment, oh, well, how old was she, or what, boom, because authors need that creative inspiration sometimes. Sometimes people don't run to social. I mean, it's still social media in a way, but they don't go to like more that social media. They go more to like Quora or Reddit, where there's a community of people with similar questions, and then you get more of an option of answers. It's not like that you wouldn't get that on Facebook or nothing. It's just, people prefer core and Reddit and stuff over certain business, especially business questions or something they really, really, really trying to find out and see what other people's experiences have been. Okay. Oh, so yeah, uh, reviews, surveys, book trailers can even help when it comes to testing. You just want to see before you even submit your work. You want to show something to your followers without showing too much about your book. So you share a 15-second book trailer on your business page or whatever, and you get a good response. People are like, man, when is that dropping, and do you have pre-orders available? When is that coming? When you get those type of responses, that could inspire you to, because that's not exactly publishing it yet. You just still got your manuscript waiting for because like I said, some people are trying to go this route, waiting for the right traditional publishing house to make a deal with you so you can sign with them. See, it's just like so interesting because it's not as easy. That's why I read that statistic out first. 5,000 unrequested manuscripts a day. I'm not even fully ready to push Crown Publishing content like that. That's a lot of manuscripts. Or we could get that busy one day. And we're going to accept the genres that we do and the ones we don't, like other houses, when we do get to that level. But it's interesting to already look at those numbers, that good sized publishing houses that are known for, pushing big authors or notable, memorable authors get this many manuscripts. It says, oh, okay. I saw something here, y'all. They said only, I hope this ain't right, but this is what I saw in 2023. Average publishing house, maybe 1 to 2% per publishing house even get accepted, because some of the main things you're going to want to pay attention to this part, because I talked about the query letter and how some won't even read past that if that letter don't look right, if that introduction to your book, because traditional publishers know what a query letter is. I'm sorry. You can't just throw your work and say, no, I didn't want to hire nobody to look over and edit it. I just sent it like that. And, expect and not wonder why your book keeps getting turned down. It could be a great book. I'm telling you. It could be, or a great idea, a great line that you got set up for it already. They're not going to look at it. You're going to find yourself submitting it for a minute. And that has happened with authors too. See? We encourage you guys to hit that subscribe bell and just keep following us, because we do interview self-published authors, guys. And then just listen sometimes, because listen to their story. Everybody have a different experience. Some went through public, maybe they start off pushing their own work, then they went to a publishing house, or they started at a publishing house and then their contract ended and they just wanted to keep writing books or help other people with projects, whatever. They did it self-publishing. So everybody story is different. This the part we want to listen to, though. Back to what I was saying. They'll sometimes reject it, because that 1 to 2% is a very small number of manuscripts that are actually accepted, even if your book falls into the category of genres that they do accept. Then they might not get around to even reading your work. We talked about this on a segment recently. On average, from anywhere to 6 to 9 months. I ain't gonna call it a miracle, but I'm just saying on average, it could be surprising if you got a response quicker. And most oftentimes, if it's quicker, that's why I said it would be a miracle, because you got a response quicker because they actually like your work. 1 or 2%? Come on now. So those quicker responses often be a quick no. It just be a quick look. We don't looked at your query letter. I'm not saying it says that. I'm putting y'all in the head of these guys and their jobs at big publishing houses. How they're looking at the submissions, how many they get that are unrequested. It's different if they're saying, hey, we heard about you. We saw the interview you did. Hey, we read your book. We want you to come sign a contract over here. See, that's a requested manuscript. That's a requested author. This statistic said minimum 5,000 unrequested manuscripts. A day, a year, a month? It was what I was wondering, because you can't really do an average on that. I'm sure every publishing house has better months. When I say better, just probably times that more people are applying or sending manuscripts. I wonder that too. I didn't get that deep in my research. But even the ones that's been around here longer, the publishing houses, I'm sure they have a system that works for them. The statistics are the statistics, but every publishing house is different. They were just saying on average 1 to 2%, because publishing houses be accepting people work from all over the world. And so a query letter is going to help you. That's like we talked about that, like that cover letter to your resume, but for your book. You can always research more if you still want to push it to a publishing house on your own with no assistance, to save you a lot of money, or just for whatever reason you want to do it. But there are affordable content management and publication services businesses out here like Crown Publishing Content to help you through that, But the query letter is going to be, kind of like the face to your, when it comes to a submission. People are preferring to do it, on their own for whatever reasons too. When people do these submissions to publishing houses, they're oftentimes turned down. I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, because they're looking off the rip at stuff like that letter. Whether you paid attention, like I said, so the query letter, whether you paid attention to their submission, qualification, rules and stuff, they just feel like if you didn't, we're not going to waste our time and read your work. You see? So that's just what that is. If you didn't put the time into your query letter, that's how that is. That's how they're going to look at it. If you got scouts coming to watch you at a game, we were talking about publishing, but let's give an example. And I mean, that just happened to be the time that you didn't do a great job or something while the scout was there, but that don't mean that you're not talented or something. You just had a bad game. Because if your bad game in the publishing industry was a bad query letter during submission process, you didn't look at the qualification or submission rules, even for poetry contests, they'll do that too. Now, you don't need a query letter for something like a poetry. I'm sorry, y'all, a poem entry in a poetry contest. I haven't seen it yet. You don't need a query letter to submit a poem entry. So publishing is interesting all the way around. But for a poem book, you would probably need to self-publish or need a publisher to help you publish that book. Poem, book, two different things. So you don't need a query letter to submit a poem to a contest or some type of award contest or something like that. But a book, see, a lot of book, when you submit it to a publishing house anyway, because book contests, they don't really, not a lot of them ask for query letters. They might, because it's a contest. They're just asking for, once again, it goes back to, are you paying attention to what they said qualification and submission rules were? Do you even qualify for this award, this contest, or to submit your book to this publishing house? Asking ourselves those questions as we consider the options that we do have to take as independent writers, when it's self-publishing or working with a publishing house. Okay. They look at things like the narrative. If you do get past the query letter and they're like, okay, we see this letter, let us go ahead and check out the manuscript. Like me personally, I can say and that's not bad. Maybe I need to talk about it more. Cause that's just something I never thought about, but that's a whole part I actually got past. When you actually see this 1 to 2%, get accepted or selected, I was happy to just be getting responses. In the time frames I was getting responses, even if those responses at the time, my first time of trying to do submissions on my own, were not accepted. I was getting responses. I got past, because like I said, if it's just 1 to 2%, they'll even accept. Most people are going to get a response, but I was talking about that timeline too of the response, because it could take 6 to 9 months. You got that many submissions all the time. It's going to take them a minute to read your stuff and see if they want to work with you. Man. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about that. If you got past submission part with no agent, no literary aid, no help, like you just was a self-publisher, you want to see if they want to accept your manuscript, but you haven't published it yet. But I got different stories like that I might have out there on Amazon. Some I've written that I just have, and maybe I am waiting. Maybe waiting to publish it, or waiting on my own, or waiting to see what to do with it. Because publishing house routes is a whole real avenue. Okay, so I'm just saying it's a whole option. You don't have to just write for yourself or write for people or write for the internet. It's so many different type of writers. You might want to do that for a few years of your life. Let me see. Let me sign this contract here. I like what they're talking about. Me and my business advisor and lawyer talked about it. We think a $50,000 publishing advance would be great, right? And they discussed the ins and outs with us, because right here, that's what I was talking about earlier. They said a good debut deal in our times today on a debut novel would be average 50,000 or less. See, the publishing industry is different, and the way books sell, and the way everybody gets paid, and everything's being paid for every time a book is printed. So I looked at that as a fair. Now, it didn't say for how long of a contract for 50,000 or what the deal is. It just said on average, a debut novel, you working with a real publishing house is, let me rephrase it for them. They're probably serious about working with you if it looks like 10,000 to 50,000 as a starting signing publishing deal, if that's brought to you. So it's just another interesting tip. In fact, still, I wouldn't advise anybody to go into a contract like that alone. Now, you could do it as much as you want alone. And I said that part too, you don't have to do it alone. But with contracts and business in the industry, why would you? I mean, that's the prevalent most place you're going to want to remember that. I ain't coming in here to this contract alone. I appreciate the deal. Boom, boom, boom. But, let's look over it. Or let's have this, or let's negotiate. Maybe I don't like this part of the contract. Do they do this? Or is everybody just signing up for the quickest dollar, right? Great topic today. So they look at the narrative. Oh, back to me. We're going to get back to that. So if I got past submission, because I said they turned down a lot, just a query letter, a lot of submissions. Because that just tells me you have more people that maybe not just that they turn down a lot of stories, but maybe a lot of people query letters don't be looking right. I'm telling y'all what I know. They will, just like with a job, something look really weird, like you really didn't put the time in to look at, and do your resume. You're applying for a very serious position. They're not going to take that resume serious. It's the same thing with your submissions in the publishing industry. They're just not. You might have your few in between. Just like, oh, I see you tried to make a resume. You came to the interview. Come on, I'm going to hire you. No, serious, professional, high publishing industry. They're looking at if you're taking the time before they even work with you to have an appropriate query letter submission with whatever else they told you. Are you paying attention to what our submission rules were, guidelines? If they already see you done messed up 3 by the time they done finished chapter 1, because a lot of them would just say send the first 3 chapters or send the first 3,000 words. It's gonna look different with every publishing house. They might ask you questions, and this is just you getting something like a consultation. They might ask you questions like, have you finished the book? That's a great question too. That's something I would ask for somebody who's looking for publishing services as well with Crown Publishing Content. Like, how far are you with your goal? Find out their goal. That's gonna be something they do. I told y'all all authors' goals are different. Maybe find out what your budget is, because we talked about what an advance might look like, but what do other publishing packages look like when you want to go through a publishing house to help you push your book? These options are out here too. They have what you call publishing packages and plans, and they work with you to get that book pushed, but it looks like an investment from you. See, everybody's option is going to be different. So those type might ask you what your budget is, and even with your budget, they might try to work out a payment plan. So that goal are today, that's good. Go ahead and publish because goal is maybe publishing package that pay for some writers. Uh, it came through the design, their company, everything, and I do statements. You know, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. My device started kind of, not the device, but I had to adjust this cord really quick. Hey guys, I'm glad that was on mute too for a second. I didn't even know I hit it before it did that, but I was on something here, and I hate that it did that. But back to the publishing houses, like, they could have publishing packages available. I'm not would ever advise, even as somebody else's publishing advisor, I would never tell anybody, like, because every author's goal is different. I would never tell them, hey, don't invest in a publishing package because you want to push your book faster and you think it might work better for you. No, only they know their goal. Your job along the way when you're supporting a writer or author with a goal, to me, is just to try to your best ability, help them get and reach their goal. They're doing the work. They're the author. It's their story. It's their idea. And some choose to sell their stories. One second, guys. Another tip of advice, though, that I just thought about, because I just said that people do. That's a whole part of the publishing industry as well. How people make money. They might just be a really, really good writer, but you'll never know it. But they're getting paid. I'll tell you why. They could be a good writer and they just write really good. storylines, really good ideas. They bring them to the table. And what do? They sell these for a living. That's a whole part of this too. Do people know their options when it comes to publishing? This segment stream today is just to kind of recover, refresh, re-talk about it, thing, and give somebody inspiration, of where to start researching when it comes to your option, and your options, in the publishing industry. What you might want to do on your own, what's more accessible to us today to do on our own, why people are doing it on their own. Even when you go research the statistics, why people are preferring to self-publish. But like I said, publishing companies are very well much still in business. That's why you have whole big. I was looking at some things recently, like who a celebrity went through to publish, to be honest. See, this type of business is interesting to a lot of us for real. So I was just looking at it, and they're actually like a common name you hear if you are familiar with submissions, like I was trying to talk about. But if most people don't get past the query letter, because I never fully got it out, y'all, and they say just submit 1,500 words or 3, they might not want your whole book. And that's usually how it goes. They don't want the whole book, and it's dumb to send the whole book. So there's no way for me to talk about this without I came into it knowing that. I did. You don't send the whole manuscript. Because a lot of people don't know, and we're not laughing at it. So you don't do that. And anybody asking you to is probably a sham publisher. And I don't want to go too deep in it, but see, I have business experiences for real with what I do. I made it very clear with a client once before that she was more ready to go ahead and go off into the contract. I'm like, with this being your first time with my services, this is what I advise before we did anything. How about we don't sign anything until you decide you like what I send back to you? Because, see, I write for others, and others have written for me. It's called ghostwriting. I don't know. I'm just keeping y'all inspired. And it's a whole revenue and income for some people. They content write every day, whether it's a blog, books, whatever. It's a very misunderstood craft to me too. It can be. It can get there. When that's the work you do, and then how careful we have to be if you do choose online publication as your option. See, there's pros and cons to both sides. If you choose self-publication, I'm gonna just say online publication to begin with. That's anybody. You're gonna have to be careful because now you got an online type business going on. But when you got, even if that's a book or a news station, it's a business. They have to be careful with their websites, all this stuff. But with publishing, see, if you push it out there, you're just doing trial and error. But that's just one of those, I cannot do this segment without saying. That's not the part of trial and error you want to go through. You do not submit your whole story to anybody. And with who I was talking about, I'm glad I did it the way I did it. It's just an example. Let's not do anything with a contract until, Actually, I was so sure about it. I'm finna go ahead and start this work. You don't pay me a dime. That's how serious I was about it. Everybody do their work different. Maybe I have my fees, but maybe your fees are not even going to accumulate, ma'am, unless you like what I send back to you. Everybody do business different. Or unless I'm not going to pay you unless I like what you send back to me. That's how I like. She just disagreed with it. So you're going to have clients, all type of different people you deal with. And publishing houses know this. This is why you're going to see something like more frequent rejections of manuscripts. I'm not saying it's okay or not. I'm just trying to help give a feel for what this looks like for real. Why would you waste your time on somebody who's not seriously taking their query letter and first 3 chapters serious? Or if they do send you feedback, did you respond? I had one do that, kind of tell me what they would have liked to see me brush up, and they might work with it. I'm not being funny, arrogant, none of that. Maybe I just liked the way I had it. So sometimes you run into that too, And then if they don't have the whole story, even if they thought it was a good idea, That's good. That was smart. I'm trying to help other writers. You don't send your whole story, and it's 9 times out of 10, 10 out of 10, probably some type of sham if they're asking you to send the whole. So maybe with work, somebody might ask me, hey, I need 2,000 words of help. Or I tell them, oh, I need a whole 3 chapters of help. And this is what it is. This is what business look like sometimes. And they might say, well, okay. So what I was trying to let one client know is like, okay, we're going into this, but I don't want any money contracts exchange. Since it's your first time working with me, I feel like that's understandable. Until you let me finish this. I gave her a turnaround time. It might have been a week, 2 weeks. Got it to you. If you don't like it, you give me your feedback. I don't want your money. We don't sign a contract. But a publishing house, that's the same thing I'm encouraging people to do with those contracts, even if you get to acceptance level. So I got to maybe that with a publishing house, like what I could switch up, because you might get a response like that. Or they want to know more. They call you, and you got to be ready if you say, yeah. So that I just had to get out, and I feel better than I did. You do not send the whole story to anybody. I mean, if you really watch Lifetime movies, working on a book could be so serious, you really don't talk to anybody about it, about what decision you're going to make with that book or nothing until you're finished with the book. A word of advice to, the wise or unwise, just those that are inspired writers, poets and things like that, because poem books are very real. The gift of poetry is real. Writers in that sector and them publishing books and publishing them frequently, how they can now. Online publication, digital online publication. I mean, how it's more convenient. So we might even see more poets. We just get to see their work if we want to. If we wanted to stay on a platform like Amazon, Kindle all day and just search poets, you could, Audible and stuff like that. Okay. So a lot of people don't get far because they look at so much. These are serious publishing houses. You chose not to do it on your own or hire an agent. So this is what you're going through. Footwork of submitting your manuscripts. I think it's possible. It's just the keys, the ins and outs I'm talking about that we're making sure we're looking over before you submit them, or you're just wasting your time. It's just the truth. Because there is already saying 1 to 2% of manuscripts per publishing house, big ones, the notable ones and stuff, of their manuscripts are even accepted. So we better come with our A game just with the submission. Boom. There you go. However y'all take that. And then Crown Publishing Content is here to help. So contentcrownpublications.com again. But there's other help. There's so many proofreaders, editors, and stuff across the globe. And I mean it. But we do what we do on YouTube, because anybody could come across the stream. But we do what we do off of YouTube anyway, to help writers. Okay. You want to research things like how their acceptance process works and what their price quotes might be. Remember me mentioning the publishing packages sometimes, because they're willing to help you push the book, but some just have their prices if they can't offer you an advance, and they'll accept it, help you polish it, and get it out. That's their job when you pay for a publishing package. But you can do something like this through a traditional publishing house. So that's another gem of advice there. You want to maybe ask in the meeting before contracts about how their editing, typeset, proof, formatting processes work, print book processes work. What's that going to cost? Look at those numbers. You have authors come out later and say, well, they were keeping most of my money. Not just authors, poets, whatever kind in the industry. It still goes back to contracts to me. Not only asking, did you look at them and read them, but did you have maybe a professional for your team, for yourself? See, we've had segments about business insurance and how that's even necessary as an entrepreneur in something like the new era. It's kind of like essential. Business insurance. as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer. You got a side gig, you kind of need business insurance, or you need application. That's what I'm saying. Don't let self-made, this, that, make you feel like you're through the whole thing by yourself, because you're not. There's just other servicers, business servicers that help in different areas of business out here ready to help you. They might call themselves business advisors, business consultants, business attorneys. I'm not saying just call themselves. I'm saying where you can start with your research when you have questions before you go into deals and contracts with publishing houses. So, like with that story I was talking about, let's say the person sent back the work I was willing to pay for, but was not paying for unless I liked it, and didn't want to do a contract unless I liked it. See? Maybe the person got mad. And this is exactly how this story went. You got to give examples sometimes of, and it was so long ago now. But to me, you got to give examples so people can know when they come across this stream. I know what I'm talking about right here. Number one, ma'am, I had to break it down to her. You did not write my book. I'm still actively hiring at that time. This is what it was. Somebody to write it how I want it. I'm a ghostwriter myself. But it could be different reasons. A ghostwriter turn around and hire another ghostwriter. She don't have time to do her last 3 chapters, or her middle 3, or her beginning 3, or these 3 right here. And you just give them that job, and people really do get paid to write. Okay. So if I didn't like it and you retwigged it and I still didn't like it, I'm willing to go as long as we have to. I'm thinking about how the level I was on with her. I was willing to retwig it as much as we needed to. But if you're already frustrated by like time 3 of me not liking it, right? We're talking about people taking their work serious. Whether you work for a publishing house or you're writing a book yourself, So it's like, by the 3rd time you seem annoyed. It's been maybe a week since the turnaround time. But I'm not tripping on turnaround time, telling her this is why we ain't did contract or money yet. I have to like the work when I am the one on the side paying the writer. So I don't know how other writers do their deal and stuff, but it just makes more sense to me. Or because I can keep my money and find somebody else. If you agree, like, okay, well, let me see what I can send you. And I was willing to accept as much as she didn't do a bad job or something. But, the writing industry is a little different. Publishing industry, I wanted you to have it a certain way to go with the storyline I've already written. So as many times as we were going to need to get that right, I was willing to pay her. So if you just choose to get aggravated in the middle of the process, there's nothing I can do about that. And I can find somebody else that's all I knew. You agreed without the contract, without the money first, to start. And I'm willing to keep working on it and working with you until you get it right so I can pay you. Now, I think she was even saying, then I'll just never do business like that again. Or, okay, but I had to inform her everybody does business different. Some people could. I've tried that way too. You go ahead and pay them, but now they have no choice. Y'all go ahead, you go ahead and pay them. Y'all go ahead and sign a contract. There's a time for what you paid them for it to be done. They send the contract back to you. Okay, so you like, okay, I'm gonna pay you. But now when the work is sent back to you, they're supposed to do it 3 times, 7 times till I like it. Now you've already been paid, because some people have been in this situation too. And it's like, well, you never got it right, but do they get their money back? See, contracts are very important, is what I'm telling y'all. Contracts and agreements, and I just wouldn't go into them alone. Not myself anymore. I don't like it. Not on that level, because how much she was writing for me, y'all got to understand the publishing industry, or a ghostwriter in general, and the different type of ghostwriters there are. You charge a certain way. Every editor charges different. I looked at that. They might charge you per line they're editing for a whole 10,000 page book. Or they might charge you per page. They might charge you per word. But writing is not editing. So let me go back to that. Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. My allergies just been, woo. So with writing though, yeah, you're more charging for your work. Some charge by the hour, some charge differently. What I was trying to tell her is just more like, I'm just not paying. I was the one hired. You respond to something I was hiring for, that I'm looking for a freelancer writer to do, copywriter to do. Somebody would. I probably had to ask about your experience first. Like I had already said that part. This your first time doing Crown Publishing content services, so boom, welcome. But we're not going to take, and like I said, services and business varies with different people. Everybody goals is different. But like I said, on the business side, with me being an author myself, I might have been trying to pay her to get it right, but I'm not paying for work I don't like. What about y'all? And this was years ago. So there's just different experiences, that teach you along the way, in and out the industry. Just knowing you love what you love and you take your work serious. Now, I felt where she was coming from. Nobody wants to sit there and feel like they just wrote 3 chapters for you for nothing. That's why I was stating communication with her. You had every right and reason to believe, ma'am, I was going to pay you if you would have went on and got that right. I even, like, the contract was sending stuff. I'm saying we didn't do any signing, her sending it back, me doing anything official. I said, let's do this since this your first like experience with us. Let me see if I like your work. Cause see, what she don't know, if she would have kept doing it, finally probably got it right, I would have kept working with her. That's all I know. That's where the contract would have mattered, or maybe we would have got a new one together. How about I just have you send you work when I need something written? You have proven yourself. I didn't like it 7 times, but you sent it back correct, type of deal. No, you get mad at the 3rd time that I didn't like it. So life, I mean, different experiences are different experiences. I was just paying attention. You're not finna make me angry out of my job and work, ma'am. I was the one hiring a writer. But sometimes I'm on the other side getting paid to write for others. And it was just like, it was just a kind of going back thing, back and forth thing with that one client at the time. And ultimately, at the end of it, I was still a business lady and kept it peaceful, because I'm like, I can't make you continue working. So I guess at this time, even though she's still ranting and raving, well, I wrote this. Okay, ma'am, go back and read the messages. Go back and read everything. You know what I'm saying? We never started the contract. We never, and I told you, because the contract leads to the money, y'all. I hope I'm telling it right. Like I know, I'm remembering. The contract is what leads to the money. It's like, for sure, not only am I going to sign this, you're going to sign it, you're going to get the payment. It even says on this contract how I'm going to pay you. The way Crown Publishing Content does business. We're talking about at this time. At this time of the story I was talking about. I mean, that's why I said I was cool with sending it to you, ma'am. Don't sign anything, because you're not going to be able to prove I accept what, you're still going to have messages that show I said specifically we're not signing anything, but I'm willing to look at your work to write for me. If I like it, she was doing good. I was like, no, I'll change this right here. No, see, I need the setting to kind of like fall in place like this. Going back and forth. Anybody in the writing industry, no, you're going to have to rewrite something a few times before the person like it. That's crazy. So anyways, it was like one of my beginning experience. It really was. And talk about a teaching moment, which I still have no problem with the person, client, who we never did. We never had any more problems. We just never talked again. And whatever she told about the story is what she said. But it is like that. And you have to be ready. And that's why it's going to pay us. Literally. What did I just say about that story? The money was coming if she would have finished. Like to Woo, I'm back, guys. So, what are they looking for when these submissions are made, and how Crown Publishing Content helps our clients and writers, get prepared for this part of the process and make sure they're looking over these things. Narrative was what I started off talking about. Narrative, the editing, just on the first 3 chapters you sent. They're looking at the narrative. They're looking at if you put the work into the editing and proofreading, for sure. They're looking at the research, the level of research. It just kind of shows through anything you could possibly be writing about. Now, of course, something like an editor might say, yeah, right here, I feel like you should do more research and add this and that. That's why an editor, a proofreader, somebody to revise, even different people to look over it when it's really serious to you, can pay you, actually. Just help your time and investment into that book be more worth the while. Even when it comes time to starting to submit that manuscript to publishing houses. All right, so I named three there: narrative, editing, research. Research is going to be very, very big. Research about the whole process in general. Research about that query letter I had said 20 times on this segment today, how it should look, how that needs to be proofread and edited to, all that good stuff. And then you want to make sure that you're, oh, well, I talked about that big time. I got on my list here following the guidelines. Yes, the submission process guidelines is something they pay attention to. Well, yeah, it's just bad for them to get 4 sentences into your submission and just be like, no. And this is just what happens more often than not. Not just for stuff like editing and proofreading. It could be anything on the list that I'm naming here real quick. They are paying attention to whether you may have put the time or not into proofreading that 3 chapters of submission, because we talked about how sending the whole book is never just smart. Books, stories do get stolen, but they also, because people make careless mistakes or, accidental mistakes like that. But then, like I said, there's that part of business where people do just write for a living. Their ideas are so grand That's why I said we just don't know them. They do this. Their ideas, they're selling stories. They're selling stories every chance they get. I feel like at the same time, it's authorship, but it's more ghostwriting because they don't. Once you sell the story, it's no longer yours. But that wouldn't take from your talent or gift. That's why I said every writer's goal is different. We have to look at that and understanding and raising awareness as well when it comes to what independent authors' lives are like. Just trying to break into the industry. It's okay. We hear about it with the comedians, the actors, the rappers, everybody else, and everybody don't write their stories. I said that way at the beginning. Some of us are not written about, if ever, till later, to after we're gone, is what I mean. After we've already left this earth. I'm going to wrap this up here real soon because I got some other work I got to get on today. But that work is always open to people learning more about Crown Publishing content and visiting our website at contentcrownpublications.com. Okay. So, narrative editing research, whether you followed their submission guidelines, whether you took the time to proofread, whether you took the time to research the right venue for your publication. Remember us talking about whether online publication, where you're going to be marketing and yeah, these are just things they're looking at. How serious you are about your work. They can already see that before they call and talk to you, before they send you a response letter. And I agree because like I've gotten different type of responses. And then as you learn, if you were trying to do submissions by yourself, you would pay attention to why sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they won't. Sometimes the letter will just say we are not currently accepting submissions, but you can have help through that process. Nobody has to. Yeah, nobody has to do it alone. So publishdrive.com, Apple Book, Google Play Books, Amazon KDP. For just off the rip, consultations are always open. Well, we have slots available for them at calendly.com/crown publishing content. If you would like to talk further, book a consultation and, find out more about, because everybody's first one is free for 45 minutes. If it's about content management or publication services, we are available, so you can book those consultations and set up a time where it's more one-on-one because we already understand every author's goals are different, and just visit that website in the meantime. I think I went over what I wanted to. So this was just another fun fact before I end the segment of inspiration, and also just a fun fact. J.K. Rowling is being considered the number one selling author still today. With 1 billion, they say she's a billionaire. So she's the Harry Potter writer. Joanne Rowling. Okay, she sold 6 million copies that have been translated into 84 different languages. I wrote the word British here, but you Harry Potter fans already know where I'm going with this. 7-volume series. Okay, well, from the last I saw, 7 volumes at this time. But in the comments, y'all, if you need to correct me, correct me. And then you just wanna, those were fun facts. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to stay on topic here. So that's still though, congratulations to her on it. And then when I think about it and the work and everything, like, wow, I can do nothing but respect it. Even if it's not my taste of genre, of a book or what I would write, we all have to give it that. It was a very, 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 and you have those authors in history, Stephen King and others, that, brought us real imagery, or I'm gonna just say inspiration, when it comes to artistry and how far we can take our imaginations. When we first learned about books as kids, most of us toddlers, You learned that books, it was always trying to inspire your imagination. It was about remembering the sky was the limit. It was about being as creative as you wanted to write. So yes, as y'all hear, this was just always one of my favorite subjects, and it was just interesting to me to learn the breakdown of words and sentences, and I didn't know why in ages, in grades like, because it got a little more interesting. I can admit that, more like fourth, fifth grade. You're gonna go to middle school. It's not just language arts. It's getting more serious. Y'all are breaking down words, phrases. I'm going to enjoy this with my daughters because we know just them learning at school, you might have to break it down more. You might can show them more in any subject, right? Math might not be my biggest, or science, or what else, y'all? Like, I ain't just gonna say for science and math, that's vague, but let's say, chemistry, or this or that was not always my, it was more like that side. So that's where they get the plus. Like, okay, breaking down, going back to that, even if it takes myself back there, I can't miss it because my kids are in school. So just the basics of breaking down in grammar and correct punctuation and stuff, we're going to be talking about it anyway, because as writers, it just comes with it. Publishers, authors, whether you're independent or going through a publishing house, right? Talking about things like, because this was talking about the narrative, they look at that when you submit your book for a publishing deal. Do you understand something like voice, tone, narrative? I mean, it's going to show as a writer. If you got somebody to proofread, if you got somebody to edit. And it's crazy because really, they could do it. I mean, let's talk about the facts. They could sign you and help you polish that book up. That's what some of these people do. But you can still look at something like a rejection of your manuscript over stuff like that. So it's not a game. It pays us to know, whether you're submitting a book or not, or you pushing this book on your own. Just know when we get more serious, it's no longer a hobby, it's a business. We're taking our books more serious, going into it with this type of head now. So I think it's pretty cool, like discussion topic worthy, if you will. Just things to know before publishing, or you want to think long term. You want to think long term with something like a publishing plan, how you plan to market and brand, a strategy. You want to start early, maybe even as you're writing, going ahead and building an audience. And you see, and we talk about things like this in a consultation. Every author's goal is different. Okay, we mentioned it, but formatting standards. How do you want a hardcover? Or, all that matters. How are you going to have your book printed and distributed? You want to do this the self-publishing way. If you're going that way, these are good questions and things to plan for. What are some resources? This is a great one. What are some resources? Uh, and I don't just mean grants and stuff, because we share those sometimes, or jobs for writers, people, companies that be literally hiring. That's because that's what you're going to be doing at work. For writers, we've had those segments. We're going to get back on top of that too. I was trying to do it to where I don't even think I got to for October, so it's still a good time. Uh, Sharing not just remote jobs, but jobs that hire often more times remote, but sometimes it's not always that way. But we just still like to share them. They're oftentimes more remote when I share them. You know, it's first, it's one I think about it on. I was one kid. I saw understood a little better. She saw it. So, basically, probably why I was in. But it's funny, life's funny. But we hope some of these tips and things, some of this we talked about today, you know, helps a writer or two. Just researching widely your genre and the genre of the publishing houses. Uh, that accept what, just researching it. Most of them on their website are going to have success stories of other authors they've helped anyway. So that's what helps us start. Uh, so I just think that's cool to know. Let's see. Uh, yeah, researching the genres, because every publishing house is not going to accept all the same things. Some is just sci-fi fiction, romance, and this. Some educational books, this, that. Research can get deep. So that's a great tip of advice. Manuscripts, query letters, making sure those are right. We went over that a million times, and never sending that full manuscript because you can find your story stolen. Okay. And then you didn't even have it published. A lot of people would say go ahead and copyright it, before, but it's just a lot of different things. It's a lot with it. You're trying to sign because some companies prefer, they wait and they help you with all that. It's just a freshly unpublished manuscript. It's dangerous to send the whole story without, the proper protection or no contracts involved yet. So that's why you find them more just asking for a little bit of what you've written. And that could be different, so many words or so many chapters, okay? Or so many pages if it's a children's book, okay? So that's pretty cool. A lot of people don't even send because you might have your own. Maybe some of y'all have questions about that too. You might have your own book cover in mind, like your own design, your own vision of it. That's the perfect word. Though they help you, though they help you do that, a lot of them will still allow you to use the design that you bring to the table. See, contracts can get really deep. You don't have to use their book designer. You came to the contract table already with what your vision in mind with this new publishing contract should look like. You want to not wait till later to be arguing with your PR agent and managers and literary agent about the cover. But these are just things you see, and we're trying to help people. You know what I'm saying? Avoid them, like when it comes to this business. Just things, fun facts and tips to talk about. If you want to bring a certain album curve. I might can't talk about music side of industry as much, but publishing over here with the books and stuff. But I'm sure they get an input on the covers. The cover, maybe they don't. Maybe it's all once they sign that contract, it's just how they want it to be. That's why I'm saying it pays us to pay attention to this stuff in the beginning. Take your time. Don't move at a pace that people want you to just because not with something like publishing and authorship and writing in general, because as we all know, if writing is not clearly communicated, you miss the whole message. Just like when you speak, if it's not clearly able to get out because you're too emotional or then you get misunderstood. Something gets miscommunicated. So that's why we look at this with writing. So that's just what that is. Shout out to Slim Rich Productions this morning and every subscriber. We love you at the Crown Content Publications family. And y'all go subscribe to Slim Rich Productions. Okay? We just got through talking about representing entrepreneurs, representing artists, representing writers and publishing. So he popped up really in a good time because in music, I don't know if once you sign a deal, they let you choose the cover. Because like book publishing, and it's a really good basic question anybody could have. Like, do you get to be in on those type of, well, the only way I could answer that question on the publishing side is it's like, don't wait till you done signed a 2 or 3, 5 year contract to be arguing with them about the 5th book you've done with them, but you want to control the cover this time, right? Like an album cover, book cover, movie cover, even on that side. But uh, I would say they get an input on that. I wouldn't know. Like, Or do they just fully take over? Like, no, you're gonna write, you're gonna perform all this. What we want, you signed this contract. So I would say I'm right about that. You go into those contract deals with the right people, I guess. To some, that makes deeper. Like, no, this is a business lawyer. Just saying, oh, you're tricky. That might, I wouldn't call it tricky. The contract just might not fit with you somewhere. Do y'all know what the word negotiation is? Many stories have been popping up rights. Okay, they don't a little bit. It's more yeah, fighting argument royalty. I mean, later all the time, and thing with record sometimes coming up here. Production, so they let you. They might give input on some project. It's not letting me put. They have an input on some of them, but mostly to the label, the man. Come for sure, because I think my way. I'm telling you, I'm not as bad, but go ahead and read it. Actually, pay attention. Don't just look at the $50,000 part of the. Because this just is a fact. It's an option for authors. $100,000 deals, but you got to write for them for the next 7 years or whatever. Right? That's your choice if you go that way. But why would you just sign it for the money? It's just been happening too much to me out here. On the book publishing side too. Probably with music and film too. We don't know how the money is broke down on them two sides fully yet. I'm not gonna play like I do, but the publishing, it all really still tied together. Contract. That's my opinion, y'all. And anything I share on here is y'all not say that on the other topics, just my expressions, opinions, and views. But I'm gonna say the same thing today, but like just from my experiences. Like, wouldn't you want other writers and other people to miss that? Okay. Read your contract, your lease contract too, any type of contract. But we're talking about publishing today and tips for just really, really inspiring artists, not just writers, going off into this, especially today. Yeah, they're going to have the money part big and clear. Are you reading what they're cut, what they want? Are you reading how much they have to take out monthly, with your bills, with your response? You know, you just saw $1 million deal. That's all you saw. You saw $1 million deal, and then you said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna sign it." I don't know no better way to say it when you. We all know it, and maybe that is why I started off talking about that. Like, more now that I wrote it down somewhere though. More people are. Let's see what I wrote down here. Since 2021, online self-publication has risen 53%. Like, this many people across the globe prefer to publish online. It says, and this is what publishers have been preferring, according to surveys in 2023. Things like the gift of IA or AI, I'm sorry, y'all. The gift of AI and how it gives them a quote unquote foothold in writing, in the writing industry, in the publishing industry. So we can all agree with that, or understand why publishers say this is what they prefer. Whether you're a self-publisher or you go through traditional publishing. They said they absolutely love the area of audiobooks. I think we can all agree. Because you can do something like listen to a book on YouTube. Did y'all know that? I know it seemed like nerdy, simple information, but we're helping the aspiring artists. And I mean, I know we know about a lot of the music platforms too, when it comes to supporting the entrepreneur type artists, because we do interview them. We had Slim Rich Productions on the show before, and they are doing a great job as entrepreneurs. With what they do with the music and everything. I actually love music myself. I play the violin. I don't know. I be messing around with rap myself sometimes. I feel like I actually really got something, but I'm more on this. But you know what? I support music and the music industry in ways and artists because these are other creative minds. This is another sector of business of creative minds who just bring the juice, and they do this independently a lot of times. So that's why we like to have them, share their stories or what they can help us to know to help other entrepreneurs on our show. So yeah, they said they love audiobooks, but I threw that out there. YouTube is one place, but we know about Audible and other apps. You might can type in a book. YouTube might already have a audio recording. That's what I love about it. They might already have a recording somewhere, right? Where even if you wanted to read along, I think it's great when you have kiddos that might not just be motivated to read a book when it's time to read a book. So you turn that on, and it's like they can see the imagery and hear the narration of the book. Would y'all say that? That's a great question on this topic, just for the writers and readers today. Would y'all say that audiobooks takes away from the experience of reading? It could sound like a dumb question, but when you got kids on real reading levels, like none of mine are beginners, but they're definitely at, okay, it's getting more serious. We're breaking down sentences. I want y'all to know punctuation, the spelling, grammar, and everything, right? That's what we're talking about. Like, does audiobooks or the convenience of things like Kindle tablets and stuff like that contribute? I'm not being funny, because they even get technology at some schools. I mean, I don't know if they still do. But I think the older kids still do. Now, I'm not saying everybody with a device is sitting here reading, because y'all know in class lectures, you read there actually with the teacher. So, but and they don't always do it with recordings after you get a certain age. So that's what I'm talking about. But when we're at home, it's just something I said I enjoy. We don't do it all the time, and it made me ask the question: just audiobooks? I mean, because it says it right here in my notes. Publishers are preferring this in 2023. Audiobooks is just so much easier. Maybe they mean with learning and teaching their kids too, and maybe because Hooked on Phonics back then was a whole. I feel like I can almost remember. I just happened to be in the time when Hooked on Phonics started being introduced into the public school system. I feel like I remember, because like we weren't doing it at first, and then we had to do Hooked on Phonics. Whew, I guess it was a good program. I might even do a whole separate segment soon on an update, with Hooked on Phonics and just how they've been helping kids, if they're still helping kids. I think I saw an article recently how some people are doing away with it. I guess they found a new, or maybe it's something else, or maybe it's AI, like they're saying. You don't have a need for certain stuff because of all of the content that can be accessed that's already published digitally. Even when it comes to teaching or what, we know this to be true. People love Zoom, but this said audiobooks, so let me keep it there. But that's a fact too. People love Zoom, the convenience of video chat. It makes even learning teaching. So learning and teaching are both essential. Or meetings, all this possible. Way more convenient. So we agree with publishers on why they think audiobooks are easier. We agree with them that being able to sit up and listen to a book as we read it. So I would say they don't take experience from the kid as long as they're reading along with it. That's what I said. Now we'll do just playing the bedtime story, something like at nighttime or, in the morning, but really we don't want to take away from the experience. It's my opinion of actually reading, but it is crazy that I think they had the tape recording books back then. Yes, we used to read along with books. I am remembering. But at school, they did make us read along. You always had those kids put their head down and you get lost. You get lost in a book, might fall asleep. Y'all remember class, but they definitely made us. It wasn't just audio book like today, like you just listen to it. They may in class, they might still be like this. You had to read books and the new technology taken from the experience of reading. It just gave me something to think about. And even with the online classes, more of our readings were reading. So I don't think reading's going anywhere for a long time. Nothing was read to us. We have to read everything for that class, every reading, whatever the teacher, the instructor, professor give you. And it might have been online digital content. That's still that with AI and all that, but it was not, where it reads to us like YouTube and audio books and Audible makes that possible today. Now it says AI publishers also like that AI helps drive debates trending in the publishing industry. I said, boy, that is very true. I mean, when you think about it, um, AI helps drive debates. Let me they can share their content. I think that's what that's just saying here at the end of the day. Because anything could trend today, right? Like from the smallest to the largest topic or book. And publishers said they actually love this. It works well for the publishing industry. If we know that publishers say this, we definitely should understand this as self publishers. Yeah, so they're saying that, we love that something can just trend so fast and, it could get monetized because it could get these likes and views. We love that on top of being publishers and authors. That's what they're saying. Surveys and everything in 2023. Authors love expanding into new channels. So I can see that to be true as well because, it's like it's no way around it. One book could just open a door to I'm not gonna say many things because everybody don't write a book to just have all these let me see how I'm trying to say it. Like it just opens the opportunity, I guess you could say, to other ventures. That is very true. Let me read it again. It says authors and publishers love expanding into new channels. I don't think they're just talking about YouTube there or internet. One author could have a presence on something like 10 different platforms just, to self promote and market their own books or work or services, because it says publishers too. Um So yeah, they might start with book and go to TV. Like we see this with a lot of movies. That's what they're talking about. Authors love expanding into new channels overall. They might go from book to interviews these days, right? It's so many podcasts out here constantly looking for new interviewees or looking to get on other people's shows or hosting something to help you promote. That's just the time we live in, or other people can share your content. So they love expanding into new channels, maybe becoming an influencer after they publish that book because you did a self-help book on pedicures. Now you have a new channel. People loved your book so much and you actually show you're doing the work of pedicure, how to do it on your own, whatever you're doing. It opened a new channel for you to do something else. Now you're selling pedicure sets. That's what I'm saying. I can understand that Arthur's expanding into new channels. It kind of goes back into what I was saying. Was it earlier on the last segment or early on this one? It was like what I was saying. I haven't met an Arthur yet that just do that. Maybe J.K. Rowling, right, who has sold 600 million copies, or maybe Stephen King, who's made it to his level. I have not met an Arthur yet that say, you know what, I'm just at the level. That I'm adding to a lot of things anyway. Uh, other other art or writing, right? That's all it is. Taking that anybody else, I'm gonna say that I'm a crown or in authors and entrepreneurs because it's just that comes with, and they don't have they're doing good work. We know it might. I don't think it's just about the money. And say kind of contract. What contract? What are they willing to negotiate if you don't like the contract? But y'all have to, when I go here sometimes, my business major here. Hold on 1 second, guys. I've met other people who they got their degrees in actual communications, or every podcaster did. But also another boom area of business these days. Video content is all the rave. Audio books, like we named on my list a second ago. Books we can listen to. But like I said, I would feel like it takes from the experience of reading, unless you're reading with the book. Now, y'all take that and do whatever with it, especially for the kids. If you're gonna do the YouTube audios and Audible and just them listening to it, I can see how, like, if they babies, 1, 2, 3, or they not learning to quite read yet. But over that, I would say it would be more beneficial for them to read. Even if we have that type of technology that narrates the whole book for them to, from a device, they should still read along with it. And some of these apps out here do, guys. I forgot to mention it. Because this ain't a homeschool segment, but ABC Mouse, all these different ones. That was just one just about everybody know about. But they, when they do their online structured classes for reading and writing, they do have these books, where the words are across the screen, and the kids read with them while they can hear it with the headphones on. And I think that's very cool. So authors love expanding into new channels. Let's talk about. I'm almost through. I didn't know this would go this long, for real. I got to do other stuff. But the top profitable fiction genres as of 2023 is going to be romance, crime, and mystery. That's for romance, crime, mystery lovers, and romance, crime, mystery readers, and romance, crime, mystery writers. That what I just said. So that's an interesting fact. Now, like we mentioned, every publishing house works with different genres. So, if it works with the different genre, romance, crime, and mystery might not be what they're accepting, but you listen to the facts, and these are the most profitable genres. And they rose. So this is what rose. Rose 53% in 2021. Sales rose in these three genres of books. Okay. The median salary pay. But I'm gonna say according to Google. But according to my opinion, it's gonna be based on how that publisher chooses to charge, how that ghostwriter chooses to charge, how that this is what I mean. Like, yeah. Are you just the type of author that writes book? Are y'all saying that median pay for books is $12,749 a year? According to Authors Guild survey in 2018, the median pay for a self-published author was $12,000 for the year. That ain't much, is it? But I still say some authors and where they're starting wouldn't say they've touched that much just with their own self-promotion of books. So why are you doing it if you don't want to at least get to the minimum of what they say, the medium of what you should be making? Let's take our work serious. That's all I'm saying. Then your pitch of that book is going to be everything. Like, hey, this is what this book is about. I ain't even write down a example for y'all today, but let me see if I can come up with one. Like the way you pitch that book in the query letter is everything. Just to give an advice on that again, 264% increase. So I was like, what? 264%? 264 increase in self-publishing. Wow. Okay. So self-publishing has given rise to numerous success stories. That's a fact according to Google. And that's just how they worded it. But researching, and this is what helped them to get there. Even the independent publishers that have been able to get their stories out, and I'm going to talk about that real quick before I get off. Yeah, it was a success. So what else do we need to see? They said now not 264% of success stories, like this how many came up. No, it's saying a 264% increase in self-published authors alone. Let's see, since once again 2018. That's crazy, right? It's 2023. So I mean, you could take the research back further or shorter if you wanted to. But it says self-publishing has definitely given rise to numerous success stories or the opportunity to share them. So that just means there's no success story without, the rain, sleet, and snow. People don't read a book just to hear the success part, huh? That ain't gonna even get you through a whole novel writing the success part. You're gonna have to talk about the story. So that makes a lot of sense. So if they're able to get success stories out through self-publishing, that said what it needed to say through itself. And that's just a whole statistic there. But I wouldn't just say that books or digital e-book publication is what's helping people get there. I would say it would also be social media, kind of like just going back over things we were talking about with AI and all this different stuff. Social media help people tell stories too, just video content in general. Content, let's just say content. By the way, Crown Content Publications is our name. It's crazy. It's the perfect time to try to explain this. Content is like a variety of things. Video, photography, research, definitely a lot of writing, probably content. You know what I'm saying? Information, whether it's audio, visual, you know what I'm saying? Music, it's like that. So people have been able to use social media to begin to do this. That's why I brought up video. When video just became, anybody had access to video, as long as they had a phone. So yes, I would imagine we would hear more, even if we didn't know there were so many success stories, right? I mean, they probably broke it down through the increase of self-published authors, like I read. But I'm looking at it like now, you got social media and stuff that has allowed people to be able to share stories too. Even share stories through the process of them getting through the stories. That's what like vlogs and some people YouTube channels are about. They they put you in their story, kind of like a reality TV show. People are starting stuff like this for themselves. Stuff like comedy skits and things like this with video content. And then you see the success stories. You see them start with 5 subscribers, and by the end of the year, they're at 1 million with their comedy content or something like that. And now they're a monetized channel. So, boom, that's what I'm going to leave it at today. It said 22% make up self-published authors in the digital book market. Okay. But that's what I be saying about statistics and where you get your information sometimes, because I still think those are 2 separate statistics. They're just saying different things, but they do sound similar. Now, 22% make up, in this right here I'm reading, self-published authors. Just in general when it comes to how many authors are out there. But we just read there was an increase, though, a very significant, big increase in self-published authors just in the past something like 3 to 5 years. And it says on top of it, numerous success stories. I guess not just with the authorship part, but whatever their success stories were, we get them too here when we do our interviews with authors. We love them because sometimes they're writing from a place we know these writers got inspired somewhere, any writer. So we just like to give them the platform to promote their books and share their stories here as well on our platform. Calendly.com/crown publishing dash content. My allergies, Lord. Is where you can book or reserve a slot to become a guest on our show and promote your book if you might be interested soon. We invite you and we'd love to have you promote your book, your website, your work as an author, and talk to us a little bit about that life because we're always trying to, advocate for what comes with that work when you are a self-publisher. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Crown Content Publications YouTube channel where publishing and marketing meet. Remember that website was contentcrownpublications.com if you just want to, more details about the digital publication services, digital online publication services, or content management services for your book. You can learn more about that right there on the website. That Calendly link will be in the description section and in the comment section as well, but you can find it in the description section now. And then tune in to previously recorded segments if you're interested with authors we've already talked to, at Spreaker.com/show/5379253. All this information is in the description section. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all have a beautiful hump day out there. Let's get over this hump, finish the week. If you're working on book projects out there, I hope there was some tips or some things I covered today that might can help you give you more perspective when it comes to where to start with your research and what to expect when you're talking to traditional publishing houses. Just like an intro, I might even need a part 2 to this one because we did not cover everything for sure. And this is like a 2-hour stream. But we thank you guys for your support as usual. Any small or great contribution to our channel. Our Cash App, $Crown Content, is always greatly appreciated. This helps us, keep our campaigns going on our Spotify broadcast and everything to continue, raising money, supporting independent authors who invest in themselves, doing these interviews with them, promoting. Our mission originally was to just keep the power of business networking alive. Especially in the community of independent authors. Even the statistics just told us there's an increase in self-publishing. And in that route lately, probably because of the convenience of, people being able to do it themselves. But I hope y'all enjoyed this stream. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to show your support so you don't miss future streams. All right. We'll be back this week with more information and news you can use and just event topics across the globe that affect us all, even if it's not directly. We have our topics about it, see what we can learn from them, see, what went wrong, if it was something wrong, or what we should be paying attention to. That's what podcasts are about. You leave your opinion, your review on Spotify as well. Our name is Crown Publishing Content. Thank you guys for your support, and until next time.